Hey everyone, and let's get this September kit used up. So I got my photo here in these acetate pieces, which are a project that I made earlier in the month. So if you haven't watched that video, go check that out. But in the process of trying to work out how to have this circle layout and the acetate flowers, I made this background which didn't get used because it was too much, but I needed to use it because I didn't want it to go to waste. So I kept this process in because this is the background that I use for this layout. And I'm just showing you how it all came together. So basically I've got this pink paper here that I rip. I'm just pulling the edges. If you want the white edges to be exposed of the paper on your ripped edge, rip the paper towards yourself. If you don't, then rip it away from yourself. That's a little trick. So just working out how it layers, but because it's layered over a little bit over top of each other, it doesn't fill the whole 12 by 12. And you can see here it doesn't do anything great with the circle on top. It's just not working. So instead, I get this blue floral piece and I'm going to interchange every second ruffled piece for this blue. Now, while I was ripping them, I don't rip them evenly so that there is some that are wider and some are thinner, and that just gives a little bit of that difference to that textured background, sorry. And I just find that it is much more interesting to have it that way rather than having them all the same. But that's what works for this instance, but for other times I'm sure having them even or very close to even would work. So you can see here, it's just going to come together like that. It would work with that, but then the flowers were just not the right thing for that background. So I glue it all down and then I move on to finding a different solution for that circle and acetate paper layout. So check that out if you haven't already. But instead, I'm just going to glue these down. So I just simply use double-sided tape and I'm just going to layer them up and just go with the flow. Like I said, I'm not keeping them even or anything, but gluing them from the top down means that the previous, like, so they're on top of each other rather than not being able to see the ruffled edge. So just keep that in mind if you're gluing things down like this, that the way you glue it can matter about what's hidden and what's layered on top or not. Just simple putting it on. I just kept it in just because you can see how it came together. Plus this video is quite quick because once this background was done and I made a couple of layouts and then I came back to this background and I was just flipping through my photos and happened to come across the perfect solution. So while I'm gluing these down, I'll tell you about the next step because I just jumped to it. I was looking through my photos and I found I've got the little card size printing paper and machine part for the selfie printer, so it makes a small one. I think it's like 2 1/4 by 1 1/4 or something, 3 or something like that. So they're smallish, but they're really fun size. So I found some of them and I've just got that theme of selfies taken of myself in some random places, random hair, because I like to change that up. And I just liked how they tucked into the layers. So I've got them layered up and tucked in so that it looks like a nice little bouquet of flowers is what I was thinking. You know how the layers are different between the height of the flowers and the width of what's going on in a bouquet. So that's what I kind of equate it to. So I'm just tucking them in here and you can see that it covers up the pattern behind it so that it makes it the focus and makes it look like one photo as such because it's just a cluster of photos rather than if you had multiple photos sitting apart from each other across the layout. So simply double-sided tape to glue them down and then I'm just diving into my kit to find the right embellishments to use. So pulling out the stickers that we got, the Kaiser Craft stickers, and I'm going to start with some of them. I love these little birds and I wanted to get them somehow on a layout and this was the first time I was able to. So that's really cute there, fill in some of that space, and I wanted to fill in some of the space in between and the joins of the photos so that they weren't so angular at all the places where they join or overhang. But I just wanted to have a play and see what I could do and what worked. So always just pull something out, fussy cut it, or just hover it around and see if it works, because you're not going to know until until you get it there. Sometimes you can look at an embellishment and say, yep, that's the perfect one, but other times you have to hover it around or move it around and see if it is the way to go. It's surprising when I looked back too, is that I just effortlessly, I was able to add green to this layout. So the layout is pink and blue in the background, and then the first embellishments I pick up are green, and it just works so well. And often, if you think about it from abstract, way, blue, pink and green aren't usually colours that you see together. But it worked so well today, so that was good. So just fussy cutting these leaves off the exclusive cutter parts that we get in the kit. And still got these acetate pieces on my board here on my desk, so I'm just seeing if any of the gold ones will work, because I still have a couple of the coloured ones, but mostly the gold ones. And I decide against it because they just weren't sticking out enough. I didn't want to have them there and be one of those really, really subtle embellishments that you could only see if you spent a couple of minutes looking. They're too nice to just have around and accidentally hope that someone would notice them. So pulling out the puffy stickers, don't have many left because puffy stickers are awesome and they're really popular with myself at the moment. I can't pass them up. And I just worked on using that circle one there. I found some more of these leaves in the cut apart sheets because we get a couple of them. I think we end up with 3 in the month. So that's a fair amount of embellishments. Well, I do because I get all 5 of the kits. But it's always nice to have a good range of embellishments to work with. And it's so easy, as you've seen, to just fussy cut them very quick. Working on fitting a title in before it gets too crazy and I forget about it. Not because I feel like absolutely has to have a title, but just because I normally do like to have a title, and if I'm not going to put a title on, then I need something that is a statement that will be a title as such. That's just how I like to put a layout together. Quickly give up on that because I'm not sure. I think, oh yep, I'm just going to keep those blue thickers there and work something out. But then I come across these gold thickers and decide on the word smiles, because what else can you put there? I already have so many layouts that are just selfies, because 99.999% of the time that's how I ever get a photo of myself. So I have to use them when I'm scrapping. So I figure I'll put that all there as well, so it could be all smiles, and it just adds that dimension of height to the title, just like I have with the photos sitting up like that. So just adding some simple journaling, and that's going to be the end of my layout. As I said before, it just simply quickly came together, but it is something totally different out of the box for myself. So hopefully you've enjoyed this layout and the way it's come together. Come back and check out the other layouts that are happening as we move into the October kits. See you next time, guys. Bye.